I'm Gemma Wenger, and this is Gemma Wenger's Hollywood, and we're here at the Salvation Army Kettle Kickoff at the Farmers Market, and we're just having a great time, but there's some really interesting people that we're going to meet, so you stay tuned. We have Mr. Phil Jackson here, the head coach for the Los Angeles Lakers, and you know, you're pretty awesome.
Well, thank you. This is a great event that we're doing here today. I mean, it reaches out to, you know, an audience that's in need and deserving of help, and this is what we're about here.
You know, you're a really special person because you're like the winningest basketball coach of all time. How do you do it?
No, it's the players that do it. It's, you know, it's about them. And, you know, what a coach does is he tries to harness that energy. And hopefully, you know, we'll have success again this year. We had a great season last year, and we're trying to go back and do even better.
What are you, like 12-1 now, 12-1 now or something?
Not yet, 11-1, but we're getting
11-1. Maybe I'm prophesying.
We're after 12-1, and we're trying to get their best record in this league this year. That's what our goal is.
That's amazing. How do you come back from the tough times, from the hard times, to get a team together? Because we all have our own individual problems, but you've got a team, and you have to deal with all their little issues. How do you do it?
Well, it's about people sublimating their own personal goals for a group goal. That's what it's about. And when you're a team that's had success and you know that you're relatively talented as a group, players have to say, it's not about me, it's not about my individuality, it's about our group.
What do you look at in terms of characteristics of a player? Do they just have to be a great player, or are there other elements involved?
No, they've really got to be competitive. That's their first necessary characteristic. They have to be talented, athletic. There's a certain athleticism that goes along with our game. But, you know, it's really about character, and it's about the competitiveness, and then how overriding does that competitiveness make on their personality. Can they still be competitive and still be a group person? Can they still share the ball, share their successes with their teammates?
How do you bring that out of your players? Because I know, you know, I've always played sports, and I always used to think, oh, it's the player, but I truly realize that it has a lot. In fact, almost all of it has to do with the coach.
Well, a lot of it has to do with the system, and it has to do with what you're trying to do with a team to work towards that goal. And when you have something that they can all participate in, which is an offensive system that is sharing the ball and everybody has a certain part and role in it, they all feel a part of it. They all get to touch the ball and have a chance to do something with it, whether it's make a play or make a shot. It doesn't matter. That's an important thing on the offensive end. On the defensive end, there's no ball, so everybody plays together.
Well, you know, I watch the Lakers year after year, and then year after year you see that some players aren't there anymore. You always wonder what happens to them and what it's like letting them go.
Well, the big thing about players is that they know that this is such a business and it's such a commercial success. It's very much like, you know, acting or any other professional entertainment business that, you know, you're there, you do the job you can do, you participate as much as you can in what you're participating in, but it's so fleeting that you've got to really take care of your professional life. And in this situation, a basketball career, it's limited to lifespan of an athlete, which is 15 to 20 years. Counting college or counting, you know, the ages of late teens on to, you know, mid-30s. So these players are very professional. They work very hard at what they do. We congratulate them. A lot of guys end up spending 10 to 12 years in this game. And then they move on and change their lifestyle. And hopefully they've learned lessons in sports that they can carry off into business life, in their family life.
So you think coaching is like being a therapist also?
Well, coaching is coaching. It's not therapy. It's coaching. And that's what coaching really is, whether you're a business coach or a basketball coach or you're, you know, an individual coach. You're working with a person to bring the best out of them, and that's what it's about.
And what's the funnest thing that you do as a coach? What's the best thing that you do?
The best thing we do is we win on the road, and we get on the bus together, and we leave an arena and feel really good about ourselves.
Well, Phil Jackson, it was just great talking to you, and you just have a great season. You're doing amazing. Just how you came back, and you always go to number one. I mean, it's never, you know, number two. It's always like you come back and you go to number one.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, you take care, and God bless you. Have a great evening. I have Shirley Jones and Marty Ingalls, and we all know them. They are household names. But I know that, first of all, Shirley has just finished singing at the Kennedy Center.
Yeah, well, not just, but yes, I was there about a month ago. Mm-hmm.
And what do you decide to sing?
I was in a show, actually. Yeah, we had a show. It was several people, and it was like a Broadway production, you know. So
They do independent productions there. It's wonderful. I wish it was a Lifetime Achievement Award, but she hasn't lived that long yet, so give her a little time.
You'll get one next year.
Next year.
Yes, well, because I don't know if some people don't know, but your first love is actually singing. So when they hear that you're singing, they're like, well, isn't she an actress? Isn't she an Academy Award-winning actress?
Yeah, a little bit of everything. I started with Oklahoma and Carousel and The Music Man, you know, the musical motion pictures. And then I won an Academy Award for playing a dramatic role in Elmer Gantry. And 30 pictures later, and then I did 5 years on The Partridge Family. So it's been one medium to another.
Does concerts all over the world singing, you know? Not bad for 104. She'll be 105 next Sunday.
Marty, do you know how cute you are?
Do you want to have children? Because I need one more Jewish kid. You know, we're celebrating our 31st wedding anniversary. How about that? 31 years together. 14 were pretty good. 27 were not that wonderful. But it's still 31 years together.
This month.
So you think it's because you're both so photogenic?
You mean why we're together? We're together?
Why it's lasted?
It's not that artistic. We have a prenuptial agreement. If we split up, we're both history. No. I asked her what she would like for her 31st anniversary. You know what she said? Sainthood.
I'll give it to you. Yeah, right. To live with him this many years.
I don't like this lady. Don't invite her for dinner. Don't say anything. Oh, okay. Would you believe tonight we all gave awards to different people in the armed services? The Army, the Navy, the Marine Corps. I was supposed to give the award to the Coast Guard. And how about this? Shirley keeps telling me my career is over. He never showed up. When the people you're going to give awards to don't show up, that's God's way of saying, go home. He didn't show.
No, please don't show up.
The presenter.
No, please don't go home.
The presenter was here, but the awardee wasn't here.
Well, they don't know what they missed.
Well, someone said they were out there guarding, and they had a weather report that it might rain, so they didn't show. But it was wonderful. People don't come out enough to support our fighting men and women, so we're happy to be here for that.
Well, you guys are just adorable. I mean, I see you everywhere, but you truly are just wonderful human beings with big hearts and with just such love for each.
You're not. You could have laughed a little more, but we'll train you a little bit.
Did a very good job.
You, of course.
Very.
Now you see, 31 years.
But Marty, how funny are you?
That's a very good question. That's a very good question.
Wouldn't have asked.
Not a vast. Anyway, it was a lovely evening, and hopefully America's on the right track now for everybody. You too.
Oh, good. And here we have we have Shirley Jones, and then of course we have Mr. Shirley Jones, right?
Oh!
I have the gorgeous and beautiful Brenda Epperson, and nobody would know that you have 2 children, right?
I have 3 children.
Oh, see, I didn't even know.
Sophia, there's my one right there. That's my 13-year-old right there, Sophia. I have 3 girls.
Yeah. How precious. Now, you were 7 years on The Young and the Restless.
I was, yes. 7 really wonderful years. It was a wonderful show.
Now, what was that like? I mean, being famous, having everybody recognize you, being on television?
It's incredible. I mean, people still come up to me all these years later after I've moved on and done hosting. I'm a singer, and I opened for Lionel Richie with Sony all over Europe, and my album's on iTunes, and people still come up to me and recognize me from those Ashley days. It's pretty amazing. I'm very flattered when people come up to me and say, "Oh, Ashley," and it's very sweet.
Well, you're very beautiful. So you're a singer as well as an actress. Are you a dancer?
I'm not a dancer, but I've been hosting some different shows, and I'm working on some possibilities of some other shows that might be coming about. So I'm very excited about that. And again, my album's on iTunes, so I'm really thrilled about what's going to happen with all of that and doing some touring coming up in the future.
Now, talk about your Christian faith. I know that you are a Christian.
Yes. Well, my album is an inspirational album. It's a Christian album. And there are songs that I wrote through really difficult point in my life, and I'm really proud of this album. It's entitled Brenda Epperson, Letting Go. Basically, it's letting go of basically the things that you want or you think that you need for your life, and then God has another plan, a better plan for your life. And letting go of all of those things and letting God bring them back in a better, more beautiful way than you could ever imagine. And that was kind of the journey of that album. So I'm very proud of it.
Talk about overcoming obstacles in your life and how God brought you through.
Oh, which one? I went through a divorce, which was really, really difficult. And God was so gracious through that period of time. It was one of the hardest times of my life. I recently, by the glory of God, overcame breast cancer just recently. And God's grace was all over me during that time as well. I didn't have to have chemo. I didn't have to have radiation. I had some surgeries and I was on my way. God has been so good to me and so gracious. And I just want to tell others through song, through interviews, and just letting people know how good God is, and no matter what, no matter how hard your obstacle, no matter how hurt or how disappointed you are, God is still in that, and He's going to turn something bad or seemingly ugly into something beautiful and something wonderful.
Wow, you just have such a light about you, such a peace, such a joy. Is that from the Lord?
Oh, completely from the Lord, because Brenda doesn't have that, but by the grace of God, He enables us to keep our peace during the midst of storms, keep our peace during physical pain, keep our peace. You know, God's economy is not the world's economy. That's what I've been telling my friends lately. Don't panic. God's got all of this under control. Even though the economy right now seems out of control, everything seems out of control, God is omnipotent. He is in control, even when things seem out of control. And that's where we find our rest, and that's where we find our peace, is in the Lord, not in anything I do or can do. I can do nothing, but I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Now, let me ask you a question. People hear that word cancer, and some of them as Christians say, well, I'm just going to believe God and He's going to heal me. Now, what did you have to do? Did you remove that cancer and then they got it all?
Right. It was very important for me to be proactive in my health. So when the cancer was discovered, I then fell on my knees and prayed, and actually it was very interesting. I gave my oldest daughter a verse, a very simple verse out of Psalms. It says, I will not fear, I will trust in God. Very simply, through times when she would be fearful. And when they told me it was cancer, I'll never forget, I felt the fear coming up my feet and literally like paralyzing my body. And I remember just sitting there as it was just coming up, and that verse came in my mind, and I just said it out loud. I will not fear, I will trust in God. I will not fear, I will trust in God. And as I spoke it, I felt the fear just break off of me and go away and disappear, because the Word of God is so powerful and so strong. And I took the necessary steps. I had to have surgeries, and we were able to remove it. It was caught early enough, and it was kind of a fluke. I went in for my mammogram. So, as I said, God's grace was all over me, even in that really scary time.
I think it's so amazing that God does give us wisdom. He does give the doctors wisdom, and it's so important that God is the divine healer, but there are things that we can do.
Yes, absolutely. I am all for being proactive in our health. You know, God is the divine healer, but I also believe He's given us, you know, roots and herbs and doctors and technology and things to do.
Health food,
of course, to keep our bodies pure in the process the best we can, and then God does the rest. You know, I'm all about meeting God halfway. I mean, I do what I can in the natural, and then I say, all right, God, it's all I know what to do, and then He does everything else. And that's really the best way, to just leave it to Him. And that's what I kept doing. I kept leaving it at the foot of the cross and saying, all right, Lord, this is yours. I don't know why this is happening, but this is yours, and, you know, give it back to Him.
And your vision for the future, what you feel God is calling you to do?
Oh, wow. I have always loved children, and I've had visions of a worldwide outreach for children. And I was recently approached to perhaps be involved in something, and I am looking forward to seeing what happens with that and how that unfolds. I don't know what it looks like yet, but I'm anxious to see what the future holds with that, and incorporating my music into helping children, helping people, hurting people, because so many people are so hurt and hurting, walking around hurting. They might as well just be bleeding. They're just so hurt. And I want to help people. I want to help people.
Do you have a website how people could get in touch with you?
I do. www.brendaepperson, EPPERSON.com is my website. And
can they buy your albums? Or?
They can go to iTunes, which when you go to the album page, it says just go to www.itunes.com. And then you click in for search. You put in Brenda Epperson as the artist. And you can get the album there. And hopefully it'll inspire you and touch you, or email me and keep in touch, tell me your stories, and I'm just looking forward to seeing what next year holds. And I'm just thrilled to be a part of Salvation Army, because I really believe in what they do, and that God is so behind everything they do. And it's one of the reasons I believe they're so successful, because they have their priorities right. They kept God first, and they're servants and helping others. So I'm thrilled to be a part of this wonderful kettle kickoff today.
Oh, Brenda, there's a scripture that says, out of Zion, the perfection of beauty, God has shined. And that truly is you. Your outward beauty, as well as your inward beauty, as well as the wisdom in your heart. So thank you so much, Brenda.
Thank you so much for having me.
I bet you're wondering who this gorgeous lady is right next to me. Well, I'll tell you her name. Her name is Katie Cleary, and she started out on America's Next Top Model, the first season with Tyra Banks, and now she's Deal or No Deal model number 11. Wow, so numbers have such importance now on television.
They do, definitely. Started out about 3 years ago on the show. I moved here from Chicago, and I've been on it ever since, and it's like a big family. It's very, very interesting with all the girls, and it's like, a sorority. It's cool.
Tell us about America's Next Top Model. That must have been kind of tough or rigorous.
Yeah, that was actually, when I was in college. I auditioned for it about 6 years ago, actually. And it was pretty tough. They gave me a rough time, but, got through it, and here I am in LA and doing my thing. But
it kind of gave you your start?
It did. It did give me my start. It kind of gave me a taste of LA and New York, and it gave me the idea to come out here and pursue my dream of acting and modeling and the whole thing. So,
well, what I've always wanted to know is, how did you apply for that? How did was it an audition? Did you have an agent? You know what I'm saying?
It's actually a really funny story. I was in my dorm room, and I got a random email from somebody. I have no idea. It was anonymous. And they said, there's this show called America's Next Top Model, and they didn't give me any more info. So I had to look for it myself, found it on UPN, and I sent in a videotape. Tyra lost the videotape, the first one. They had me send another videotape, and she called me and said, you can be on the show. And it was that simple. I didn't have to go in and meet them or anything. It was just 2 videotapes, and I'm on TV. It's great.
What was on the videotape?
It was basically like, why you want to start out modeling, what's your interest in the entertainment business, how bad, do you want to be a model? Just asking a bunch of questions and showing your personality, and they wanted people, with different backgrounds, different, from different cities, and it was cool. So.
Now, were you in Chicago at that time when you sent the video?
Actually, I was in Wisconsin.
Okay.
College in Wisconsin. It was a brutal cold. It was like dead winter, and then I sent it, and then they called me like maybe 3 weeks later. So, yeah.
Did it kind of interrupt your life or start your life?
It started it, yeah. I was in the middle of finals, and all of a sudden I get this call from Tyra, and I thought it was my friends messing with me, and it was Tyra Banks, and she goes, hi, this is Tyra, just want to let you know that, I want you to be on Top Model, and we're flying out, in 2 weeks, and you better pack your bags because you're coming. I'm like, I started screaming. I was jumping up and down, screaming, and they told me to get a video camera and put it by the phone before someone called me, and they said someone was going to be calling you from UPN. They didn't tell me who, and so it was all videotaped.
Oh, you're kidding!
Yeah, so they showed part of it on air. It was really funny.
Oh, my gosh. So then I guess you never did end up graduating from college?
I did, actually. I got eliminated second, so it gave me a chance to go back to college and graduate. It's just,
I wouldn't have eliminated you.
I think it was more about, if you were giving them something, like I didn't want to make a fool out of myself. I wasn't going to, take off my clothes. I was just, just normal. And I think that they wanted a little bit more than normal. So I didn't want to make a fool out of myself on the show. So.
And I think that was a smart move.
Yeah, and I think that's why I am where I am right now, because some of the other girls did, and I don't see them on another show. So
That's right. I mean, this show is, Deal or No Deal is so famous. It's so simple. What's it like?
It's really, really cool. It's really fun. We wake up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, get to set at 7. There's 7 makeup people, so we rotate. So, like 6 of us will go in at a time, do the hair, and then do the makeup, and then sometimes it'll switch. And then that takes about 3 hours to get all 26 of us ready. And then we start the show around like 10:30. We do the first show. Sometimes it takes 2 hours, sometimes it takes 3.5 hours, you never know. And then by the time we're done, it's like 16-hour days, 3 days in a row, every 2 weeks. So, and then we have, some days off here and there, which is great, but yeah.
Now, in case you hadn't noticed, you guys are all wearing the same outfit. How does that work? How do they get all those same outfits?
Oh, it's
in your right sizes.
Dina at the wardrobe department is amazing. We have all of our sizes. We don't have mannequins, but we do have an amazing, team that fits us and makes sure everything's, the same length. And we have to stand there making sure, like, our hands, the tips of our fingers meet the dress, the bottom of the dress. So usually they're all gowns. And they cut them, and I'm like, oh, it's such a beautiful gown. Why are you cutting them? But they want to get that look, so, some of the gowns are beautiful, the beading and stuff, so they have to cut them. So to show the little sexy leg, and
Yeah, that's why I figured that they cut them.
Legs.
About the legs. What the shoes? Now, okay, you guys are standing there in those really high heels. Do you ever feel like shifting from one leg to the next?
You have to, because the blood is rushing to your toes, and you're like, oh, they're going to fall asleep. And sometimes my leg fell asleep, and I was like, oh my God, please don't fall asleep. Please wake up, because, then you're called off, and you can't walk. What are you going to do? But yeah, you have to keep shifting, and then you lift up one foot and shake it. But you have to do it really inconspicuously, because they can see you, and the producers will be like, Katie, I saw you lift up your foot. It's really serious. Yeah. You're like, you can't.
You guys are like machines.
Well, yeah. Like Stepford Wives, but like the Stepford supermodels.
That's cool. That'd be a great name for a television show.
Right? Yeah.
Do you ever get disappointed if your case is called off first?
No, actually, I'm very happy when it comes to
you get paid the same.
It's good to have more airtime, but at the end of the day, your feet are killing you, and they're swollen, and you just want to sit in your chair and eat chocolate, because that's all we eat backstage with 26 girls. We love chocolate. Coffee, chocolate, sweets, fruit, everything. You name it.
Do you ever want to tell the guy or the girl up there, the contestant, what to do?
Yeah, constantly. We're yelling backstage, and the producers are like, we can hear the girls, tell them to shut up backstage. So funny, because we're so into it, when we get eliminated, we're watching on a monitor backstage. So it's like, you're in the game. It's cool.
Well, you are very beautiful, and you are very sweet, and it's just been great talking to you.
It's been wonderful talking to you, too.
Well, you take care, and God bless.
Take care, you too.
I'm Gemma Wenger, and if you would like a copy of the television show that you just saw in DVD format, please send a donation of $10 or more plus $2.50 shipping and handling to Gemma Wenger Ministries Incorporated at the address that you see on the screen. Please also specify the order number that you see. If it's more convenient for you to donate through PayPal, you can go to my website at www.gemmawenger.com and make your donation. But please be sure to email me. My email address is gemmawenger@cs.com and specify the order number. God bless you, and I love you.